In the today's class, we will talk about maps. What are maps in JavaScript? Okay. Maps are nothing but just the objects which are used to store values in key value pairs, just like a normal object. Okay. The syntax for creating a map, for example, const fruits. Okay. Equal to new map. So it will just create a map with this syntax. So if we just do console.log of fruits, okay, see it's created as map, right? Map and the braces, fruits. Suppose if you want to insert key value pairs in the map, you can do it by using set, okay, set method or the set function. Fruits dot set of. Suppose if you want to set, say, apples, and I have 500. Okay. Then if you just do console.log, any doubts, anyone? Able to hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Tell me one more example of setting some data in the map. Tell me something that so that I will write. So for the set function, it will take what two parameters? One is key and another one is value separated by comma. So tell me some values so that I will insert anything. Tell something now. Hello.
Tables.
Sorry.
Tables are bananas.
For example, bananas. Okay. And you can mention 200. Now just check the console log. Okay. This is used for setting the values into the map. Okay, the set function is used. Suppose if it has particular key or not, we can check by using a function called has function. Okay, it will check console.log of fruits has. Okay, and I will give the key now as bananas. Okay, it will just give me true if that key is present in the map. Otherwise, it will give me false. Okay. Now I will just run this. You are saying true, right? So what will be the value now? What does this console log will print?
False.
Yeah, it will print false. So has method is used for this. Okay. So you need to give only the key value here. What is the key in this map? What are the keys in this map?
Apples,
Fruits.
banana, Anusha.
Apple, banana.
What are the values in this map?
500.
500,
Anusha
200.
200.
Okay. Now we have one more method, okay, which is get method. So basically you will give the key for the get method and in return you will get the value as answer. Okay. Suppose console.log of fruits dot get of key. What's the key? I will give apples. Okay. Now what will be the output?
500 will be.
Yeah, 500 will be the output. Okay. And we have also one method, okay, console.log of fruits dot keys. Okay, this method will give all the keys present in the fruits. Okay, for example, what are the keys? Apples and bananas, right? So it will give the keys value. Suppose if you want values, then you can just replace with values. And you will get 500 and 200. Suppose you want apples comma 500 in an array and bananas comma 200 in an array separately. Then you can use something called entries. Okay. Any doubts, anyone till now?
No.
Okay. This is the usage of map. Now tell me, how to create a map, any map.
Map.
Let, what will be the name of map?
Anything wrong.
Tell me the any name now.
Object.
Tell the name, just the name, that's it. Any name,
Animal.
that's the name.
Animal.
Okay.
Animal. Let
Animal map. Okay. How to create a map? Using
new map. New map.
new keyword and the map. Okay. Now, how to set some values into this map?
Console.log of
No. Setting the values in the map.
animals.
Const-
Animal map dot
Animal
set.
dot setup.
Yeah.
Animal map dot set.
Animal map dot set of what parameters the set will take?
Like any
Key
animal
or
like
key and value.
key values.
Yeah. So object or map, anything is like an object, okay? It contains keys and values. Suppose if you are setting means you are pushing some values in the object, which means that you need to give both the key and the value. So what does the set function take now?
Map any animal key and value.
Key and value.
Okay. Suppose cow, okay? And we can specify it as 200. Okay. Now tell me one more example for setting.
Elephant.
About 500. Yeah. Now, what's the function which is used to check whether it has particular key or not?
Has.
Has, correct. Animal map dot
Map that has.
takes which thing? Key or the value?
Cow are good for anyone.
Take key, right? You need to
Hmm.
tell it takes. And how to get all the keys in this set? How to,
Keys. Map that.
yeah, animal map dot keys. How to get all values in this map?
Entries.
Map dot
Animal dot values.
value.
Animal dot values.
Yes, sir.
How
Value.
to get the key value in an array format?
Entries.
Entries. Entries.
Yes, entries. Very good. Now we will talk about the most important and the most confusing part of JavaScript, okay? And these are the advanced topics like how it will happen and all you need to understand, okay? Here comes into picture closures. Okay. Before telling about closure, I want to tell, you know about the scope, right?
Yes.
Yes. Scope is also known as lexical environment. Okay. Scope is also known as lexical environment. For example, let me write one function X. Okay. And it has one var and its value is 7. Now I have one more function. Okay. Its value is y. And I'll just do console.log of a. Okay. And I will just call this function y inside and I will just call out x here. Now what will be printed on the console? So something, since I have given console log and I am doing function invocations, right? Now what will be printed?
First is 7. Then
7 reference of
First,
undefined.
y undefined. How many console logs are there here?
Only one.
So only one console log will be printed. And what will be the a value here?
7.
7. Yeah, this is why because this is because of scope chain, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I will explain it once more if you still people wanted to know. Okay. Shall I explain it once more? So what we have normally, we have one, what is this call stack, right?
Yes.
We have one call stack, okay. And we have one execution context, okay. And how many phases will be there in execution context?
2 phases.
What are those?
Memory and code.
memory space code of it.
Yeah, memory phase and code of execution phase. So whenever this function has run, does it have any variables? For the global execution context 1. Does it have any variables?
Yes.
No, it doesn't have any variables. So I was talking about global execution context 1, which means that outer file contains any variables? No. This inner function X contains the variables, but the outer function doesn't contain, right? Am I correct?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So it doesn't have any variables. Does it contain functions? Does it contain any functions?
No.
Functions.
Yeah,
Self-invocation.
It contains this piece
Anonymous
of code
function.
directly.
Yes.
It contains function, right? It's not an anonymous function. It's normal function. Anonymous function is function without the name or called anonymous function. Okay. This is a normal function. So what it will do, it will just take the key value as X and it will store the entire function. Okay. Entire function it will store. Got it? Now what happened? So in the code of execution phase, it starts executing line by line. It will just think this is just a function declaration until line number 10 were skipped. And 11, now line number 11 is getting executed. Whenever function invocation happens, what will happen?
It will go to. It will.
Whenever any function is invoked, what will happen? Ramana, can you tell?
Yeah, Nisha.
Yeah, whenever any function invocation happens, what will happen in this global execution context?
It will be undefined.
A new global execution context will get created, right?
Yeah.
That is what you need to tell, right? So first, this will be global execution context 1. Am I correct? Whenever the function invocation was there, okay, a new global execution context will be created. Okay. And it will again contain how many phases? 2 phases, right? Which is the
Yeah.
memory phase and code of execution phase. Am I correct? Then does it contains this function X? Does it contain any variables?
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it contains variable. What is that variable?
A
A.
equal to 7.
Eight.
Yeah, A. Okay. Does it contain any function?
Yeah.
What is
Yeah,
that
function
function?
Y. Function
Y.
Y.
Yeah,
Why?
it's Y and it contains just the code. Okay. It contains just the code. Code will be saved. Okay. Now it starts executing line by line. Okay. In the code of execution phase. Now what will happen? First line number 4 will get executed. What will happen?
It will remove undefined and
7
replace
value
the
will
value as 7.
A's value will get replaced with undefined with 7 value. Then line number 6 to 7, it's just a normal function declaration. So it will be skipped. Now at line number 9, what happened? Function got invoked, right? Now what will happen?
New
G2 gets
Yeah, again
removed from
global.
the
new global.
Yeah. So this is the first global execution context. Okay. And this is the second global execution context. Now one more execution context will get created. Okay. And it contains, so these are all pushed to the stack, right? Understanding,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
Now
miss.
even E3 will get pushed to the call stack. Okay. Now it also contains 2 phases, memory phase and code of execution phase. Okay. Now what will happen? Does this function contain any variables?
No.
Does this function contain any functions?
Yes.
No.
No. Inside this function, any
Fun-
functions were
there is no
there?
function.
No, no, no.
Functions.
No.
Just a console log statement, right? So what it will have, in the memory phase, nothing will be there. But in the code of execution phase, it will start executing. Okay. And it will start executing line number 7. It will do console.log of A now. Now what will be printed in the console?
7.
7. Why? Because it will just check whether A is there in the memory space of here. Okay. It will find out A is not present. Then it will contain reference to the previous global execution context. Okay. Okay. And it will check A is there or not. A value is there. So it will print the value of 7. Understood?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I will just execute it in the Visual Studio Code and I will just show you like this call stack and the global execution context and all. And that is what a closure is actually. Now I'm just keeping a debugger here. Okay. Now carefully see the call stack. You are able to see the call stack, right?
Yes.
Initially it was empty. Now I'm just loading. You can see in the call stack first anonymous. Anonymous is the main file. Okay. Then after we have the function invocation X, right? So X got pushed to the call stack. Okay. Then after what we have done, we have invoked the Y. Correct. So Y got pushed to the call stack. Okay. And see till now console.log didn't print anything. then just I'll go to the next line. You can see console log dot got printed. Okay, when I go to the next, this y function got executed and it will be popped out of the call stack, and only x and anonymous will be there. Okay, you can just see it. Are you able to see? Y function
yes.
got executed, that global execution got pushed out of the call stack, and now only X and anonymous was there. Now what will happen? After X also completed executing, then X also will be popped out of the call stack. Okay. Now just carefully. Now you can see only anonymous was there. So when this file is completely done executing, this anonymous also will be popped out. That means global execution context one also got popped out. You can see call stack empty, right?
Yes.
This is how the global execution context will be creating and will be pushed to the call stack. And once the functions have executed, they will be popped out of the call stack. Now I will show you what closure is. Okay. Now just leave in the scope. Yeah, you can see the closure here, right? One keyword
Yes.
closure. So what it means, okay, this function forms a closure with the scope of X. Okay, so I have a function which is accessing the values of present outside of X. Got my point? So this,
Repeat it again.
this piece of code together is known as closure. So what they will ask you in the interviews, what is closure? Okay, the function bundled together along with its lexical environment is called closure. So we have a function X. Okay, it has some scope or the lexical environment, right? In that environment, what variables are present? What variables are
X,
present?
Y, X, A.
A equal to
Mm.
7, and it also contains some inner function y. Okay, and in that function y, what we are doing, we are just doing nothing but console logging whatever variables present in the X. Okay, so what a closure means, this function y, okay, bundled together along with its lexical environment, so it still remembers what's the value of A is. That is known as a closure. Function with its lexical environment is known as a closure. So what will happen? This function forms a closure with the variables of X. That's why it's known as closure X, and you can see the variables A, right? A7.
Yes.
This is what known as closure. Okay, slowly going forward, you will understand. Straight away in a one day, you will not be understanding. Okay, I will give you one beautiful video on these closures and event loop. Just after this class, watch the closures video, then you will understand better. Okay,
Okay.
yeah. So the function along with its lexical environment is known as closure. What is lexical environment is nothing but the scope. Am I
Scope.
correct? Okay. Now what will happen? I will not invoke this function y. Instead, I will just return it. Okay. Now I will have one variable z. Okay. Which will just call this function. Okay. Now if I do console.log of z, what will be printed? Can someone tell me what will be the output? So
I
what
think
I am showing here,
variable 7. 7 will be
No, till now you are not, till now you people are not able to debug the code properly. You are not understanding the code. So if I do a function invocation and assigning it to some variable, what will be saved? What is returned from this function will be saved, right?
Okay.
So now what will be the value of z?
function.
This entire
Reference.
function, this entire y function will get saved to assigned to z, right?
Yeah.
Why you people are getting confused, huh? So whenever x is invoked, what will happen? A value will get assigned with a, and we are telling return just this value. Okay. So what will be saved into the z? This function will be saved. Suppose if I do something like this, then what will be stored in z?
7 will be stored.
Yeah. Suppose if I do something like this, what will be stored in the z?
String will be stored.
Yes. Likewise, now function will be stored in the z. Okay. Now z is a function which can be invoked later. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now just show you the function. Okay. Now let me invoke this function. Now I am doing the function invocation. Am I correct? Now whether any console log will be printed or not. Whether
Printed.
console log will be
Yes.
printed or not.
Printed.
Yes.
So what value will be printed?
7.
7.
Yes, 7. This is because of closure concept. Okay. Mm, you can see 7 is printed, right? So what will happen here? Even if this function is even if you are returning this function, and even this global execution context of 7 got deleted from the call stack, because of the closure, it still remembers the parent's scope, and it will print the exact values whatever were present. That is why closures are more useful in the JavaScript, and it's a powerful concept. Okay, understood? Okay. Now, let us deep dive into the closures with some more example. Okay. And I will tell you about how set timeout will work. Okay. Suppose. Mm, So what is set timeout?
It will tell it, it will make the function to wait for particular time.
Correct.
After then execution will be happen.
So set timeout is basically after certain number of delay, execute the function given. Okay, am I correct? So it takes two parameters. One is the function, which can be an arrow function or a normal function, and another parameter is the delay. Okay. Now let me give one function. Okay, ABC, and what it does, it just does console log. Okay, console.log of hello, I am from set timeout. Okay, and I am telling it to print after 3 seconds. Okay, 1 second is 1000, so 3000 means 3 seconds. Okay, now let us just run it. So what will happen now?
After 3 seconds execution will be started.
Correct. After 3 seconds, execution, it will be printed. Now, let me tell you what will happen internally. Okay. And now I will have one more console log. Start. And I will have one more console log. End. Now what will be printed on the console?
Start, end, and hello, I am from time set.
Very good.
Set time.
Correct. Now I'll tell you what's happening internally. Okay. So imagine this as a browser. Okay. Browser meaning is that this browser here. Okay. Imagine this as a browser. Okay. And in this browser, what we will have? We will have JavaScript engine. Okay. Which will execute all the pieces of the code line by line. Okay. This is JS engine. And whenever JS engine is there, what we will be having? We will be having call stack, right?
Yes.
We will be having call stack. And imagine this is our console. Okay. So to tell you, the set timeout is called as web APIs. This set timeout, this console log, okay, and the fetch function which is used for making the network calls and DOM manipulations. I didn't tell you about that. So these are all called as web APIs. These are provided not by JavaScript, they are provided by browser, but they are most useful in the JavaScript. Okay. So these are called as web APIs. Now, set timeout. Okay. Now, I want to talk about callback queues and stack. You people remember stack, right? What is a stack? Can someone
First,
tell me?
first come last out.
Yeah, it just looks like this. Okay, it's closed at one end. Whatever comes in, it will get pushed. Okay, and it can be removed only from top, which means that first in will go last. Okay, this is what normally a stack. What is queue? Does anyone have any idea of what?
First in, first out.
Come
First in, first
serve.
out.
Yeah, first in, first out.
First
It
come
has
first
two
serve.
openings. This is a opening and this is a opening. Okay. Anything will come here, will store here. Okay. And popping will happen here. We can pop it directly from here. Understood? Any doubts till now?
No.
Okay. Now this is the JavaScript engine and this is our console. Okay. This is the console. This is our call stack. Okay. And this is the queue. Okay. And this queue name is called callback queue. Okay. What is callback, by the way? The function which get invoked later will be known as callback, right? You remember callback function? The function
Yes.
which is passed to another function. So basically, the function which is receiving it will invoke it after some time, right? Calling it back. After some time, it will call back, right? So it's
Yes.
that's why it's named as callback function. So here the queue name is callback queue. Okay. Here the queue name is callback queue, and this is our call stack. Okay. Now what will happen? So at the first line by line, we will be start executing. It will print console log of start. So what will happen in the console? First start will be printed. Am I correct? Now what it will do, it is just check set timeout after 3 seconds. Now what will happen? So this JavaScript engine will make will use the browser's set timeout, and so it will keep this piece of code, basically the set timeout, that function, which is the function which should be called after some time, which is the function, which is the callback
ABC,
function here, ABC function.
ABC function.
It will stores or registers ABC, okay, with some timeout. 3 seconds, okay. What will happen? This ABC function will get attached with some timer and will be in the browser. Okay,
Yes.
it will not be in the global, it will not be in the execution context or in the call stack. Okay, so there is something called event loop. Okay, what it is known as event loop.
Event loop.
What its jobs is, it constantly checks if the call stack is empty and if the callback queue is empty or not. Okay, if the call stack is empty and if any piece of functions were there in the callback queue, it will just take the callback function here and puts directly into the call stack, and call stack will simply execute that function. That is how the event loop or the JavaScript works. Any doubts till now?
Once repeat the statement, Anushka,
Okay.
about
So
event loop.
yeah. So what is the, so we have one call stack and one callback queue. Okay. So there is one event loop. What is the job of this event loop is, it will just check if the call stack is empty or not, callback queue is empty or not. As soon as it finds callback queue call stack empty, it will check the callback queue is empty or not. Okay, if the callback queue is not empty and if there is any function, that function will be pushed to the call stack and the function will get executed immediately.
Okay.
Okay, now what will happen when the browser encountered this set timeout, this set timeout got the function, this function ABC got registered in the browser with this timer 3 seconds. Okay, so what will happen after 3 seconds, this function ABC will set here in the callback, will be pushed to the callback. Understood? So what will happen? First, this console log start got printed, then this was registered. This was registered in the browser. Then what will happen? Line number 5 will be executed and the end will be printed in the console, and the global execution context 1 will be created at starting, right? It will be popped out and nothing will be printed. So imagine to execute till line number 1, only 1 second it has taken. So there are 2 seconds, right, for the timer. There are totally 3 seconds, right? So this function got executed in 1 second. So after 3 seconds, what will happen? This function AB will come to the callback queue. Now the event loop checks whether the call stack is empty or not. The call stack is empty or not.
Yes.
The call stack is empty. It will check whether anything is there in the callback queue to execute. This function is there, right, to execute. So what will happen? This function will get pushed to the call stack, and
And
so
it will execute it immediately.
this console log, hello, I am from set timeout, will be printed in the console. Anybody understood? Or
Yes.
shall I repeat it? Understood, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Suppose I will just try to show it in the browser if it's possible. We cannot see event loops, queues and all, but we will just try. Okay. I'm just doing console log. So you can see the call stack, right? Anonymous. which means that
Yes.
main file. And right now nothing is there here. Okay. Now I will just keep a debugger. Okay. Anonymous. So console log start has printed. Now what will happen whenever it encounters the set timeout, it registers in the browser. It attaches for this function, it attaches 3 seconds and stores it in the browser. Okay. Then it will execute. So you see, as soon as from line number 5, it jumped to line number 7 directly. Okay. Now you can see the console log of 7 will get printed. Correct? Now,
Yes.
now you see set timeout was there, asynchronous code. Okay. And this timeout has finished and ABC got pushed to the call stack. Okay. And now ABC will start executing. You understood? Or shall I replay it?
Understood.
Okay. Everybody understood, right? Initially nothing is there. Okay. Then set timeout. So after, you can see after this function has finished, ABC got pushed. Okay. You can see set timeout. This is an asynchronous code. See, ABC was there and its value get printed and will be popped out. I cannot show you that queues and all here. It will happen internally. Any doubts till now? No, right? Any doubts?
No.
Okay.
No.
Just a moment. Now, in addition to this callback queue, okay, we also have one more queue. Okay, which is nothing but it is called as Microsoft queue or micro queue, something. I exactly don't remember. Micro task queue. Okay. So what will happen basically? So you have this set timeout. Okay. And you have also one fetch function. You, as I was informing you, this is also web APIs, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what will happen? You have this set timeout and you have, suppose you are making a request for Netflix or for YouTube. HTTPS www.youtube.com. Okay. So what will happening? It's making a server call for the YouTube servers, right? It's making an API call for the YouTube servers. Now what will happen? So this fetch will be given more preference than this set timeout. Okay. And for example, if any API calls functions were there, suppose this, then what will take it? It will take some callback queue, right? Sorry. It will take one callback function, right? What I said, then function takes a callback function, right? Then function. Do you remember?
Yes.
Arrow function
Yes.
or a normal function. So you can just specify a function AB, okay? And you can print. So what will happen now here? So imagine this has taken 3 seconds and this has taken only 1 second to complete. Okay. So this function will be pushed to the micro task queue. Okay. But in case of the set timeout, okay, they will be pushed to the callback queue. Understood the difference?
Yes.
Because these operations were API calls, right? They will be maintained in a separate queue and these were given higher priority than callback queue. Suppose I have a callback function in the callback queue and a callback function in the micro task queue and my call stack is empty. Now, which one will be pushed to the call stack? The micro task queue or the callback queue function.
Microsoft.
Yes,
Microtask.
this function will be pushed first. Okay. Suppose if it contains another callback. Okay. After executing this callback, again this callback will be pushed. Again, this callback will be pushed. So once microtask queue callbacks were completed, then only callback queue callback functions were pushed to the callback and were printed. Understood the difference and understood how
Yes.
the internally it will work. I'm so sorry, I'm very new to painting and that's why it looks like this. I'll give you a nice video where you will get all the clear understanding of what's happening. Okay.
Okay.
Any doubts, anyone?
No.
No, right? So tomorrow we will talk about something called DOM APIs, which is DOM manipulation. And with this, we can end our JavaScript and we can go to TypeScript directly. And we will, from Monday, we will start doing the Angular. Okay. So, but please practice this JavaScript. Without this JavaScript knowledge, you cannot understand what's happening in Angular. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Any doubts in this, or if you want me to explain it again, I'll explain it again.
Anusha, can I know about the promise.catch function?
Yeah. Suppose if you are giving any errors, your promise is rejected, you can catch that error using a catch block. So previously I was telling you, right? Let me create one promise here. Okay. Let my promise equal to new promise. Okay. What I have told, promise will take two things. What are those?
One is
Two
What are those?
callbacks.
resolve and reject.
Yes, which is resolve, comma, reject. Okay.
Yeah.
So what will happen? So I will write my piece of logic here. Let x equal to 2. Okay. Now what I am doing, if x equal to 1, okay, then what I will do, resolve my promise resolved. Okay. Else what I will do, I will
Promise
just
is
reject my promise. Okay. My
Yes.
promise rejected. Okay. Now what, how to invoke this promise?
by using console.then
How?
process.
By using dot then function, you will invoke the promise. Am I correct? I said
yes.
then function can take two callbacks. Okay. Which one is what? If it's a successful response, correct, it will print
Yes.
console
Enter above function.
value. Now I am not giving any error block. Okay. Now let us see in our console. Now you can see my promise is this I got as an error because I didn't write any block for error. If you can see, this is for successful response, right? So if any error comes, there are two ways. Either you can use error callback here, or you can catch that error by using a catch block. You can just specify error, and what you are doing nothing but console.log of error. So why you are catching is that, okay, you see my promise is rejected got printed. So why we have to catch the error means, suppose if our program is asynchronously throwing errors, the next pieces of lines of code will not execute. Okay, it will just break the execution then and there. Like, for example, if you get any reference error or type error, it will start executing there itself. That's why you need to either catch the error, or you can use one more callback right after inside the then to catch that error. These are the two ways. That's it. This is just for catching and printing. So if any next pieces of lines of code is there, it will start executing. Understood?
Yes.
And you people understand this event loop concepts, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can anyone summarize, or shall I summarize?
About event loop concept.
Yes, yes.
It constantly checks whether the call stack is empty or not. If the call stack is empty, it will go to the callback queue and gets and it check if the function is there, it will push to the call stack and it will be executed immediately.
Correct, correct. So you can tell about micro task queue as well. And you can tell micro task queue is given more preference than the
First
callback
priority
queue.
more than callback queue.
Okay. So in the these are the advanced concepts of JavaScript. Okay, how the execution is happening for you to understand. Okay. So most of the interviews they will ask what are closures, what is callback queue, what are the differences between var, let, and const, what is bind function. Okay. In the interviews, they will mainly ask these concepts only. Okay. If you are thorough in this concept, what is map and filter? Okay, and they will ask you to write some piece of code for map and filter. For string methods and all, I have just told them for your understanding, so that for coding we will be using it, right? So you'll have a better idea. But this is how they will be asking you in the interviews. Okay. So all this comes under asynchronous code. Why? Because we are executing line by line, and some piece of code is asynchronously getting executed. So that's why we are using this callback queue, micro task queue, everything. Correct? Understood?
Yes.
And they will ask you what is async and await. Okay, what are promises they will ask you. You can give this example. Okay, and you can even tell about the fetch APIs if they ask you. Okay, nobody will ask about the fetch. Okay, since you are giving interviews for Angular, but they will just test these advanced concepts of JavaScript, like how much understanding you have, like that. Okay, now uh, in the TypeScript, we will talk tomorrow about JavaScript DOM APIs, and a little bit about the TypeScript we will talk about. And today I'll talk about one thing. Okay. In the TypeScript, to tell you, we will give the types for everything. Okay. Uh, Let me know if you are able to see my project code. Able to see?
Yes.
Okay. So what is this? Forget about this private or something, whatever. What is this? This is a variable in TypeScript.
Okay.
So in TypeScript, you need not to declare it with let or the const when it comes to in the classes, but only inside the functions you will declare with let or const. If you see, I have declared it with const. Only inside the functions you will be declaring with let or const, but basically outside, if you are declaring any variable, you need to you can directly declare the variable. Forget about this private and public. I will tell you in the later classes. Okay. And if you declare any variable in the uh, TypeScript, right, you need to give it its type. For example, if you are declaring name, okay, you need to declare its type as a string. Got it?
Yes.
Suppose if you are giving salary, okay, you need to declare its type number.
Number.
Suppose if you are declaring a boolean, you need to declare its type boolean. Got it? Any doubt in this?
Mm.
No, right? No. Suppose we will be receiving some objects, right? From objects from servers, and we will be sending some objects for the API calls. Am I correct? For example, let object. So you will be declaring how like object one, okay? And what you have, name, and it's Anusha, age 24. So you know this, right? So you need to define types for every variable you have created in the TypeScript. Okay. But you don't know what is its type, right? Basically. So for this purpose, you will be creating something called interface. Okay. What you will mention, this interface, okay, you will give some name, whatever your wish, example details. Okay. So you will mention what are all the properties were there in the object directly here. Got it? For name, what is its type? What is
String.
the type? Sorry?
String.
Yes, it's string. What is the type of age?
Number.
Number.
Number. Okay. So now what will be the type of the object? Type of the object will be details. That's it.
Okay.
Understood? Suppose
Yes.
if we don't have any type to specify, we will be creating interfaces, okay? And you will specify what type of that object is. Got it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's it for today. And even yesterday's class I have uploaded in the YouTube. You people have checked or not, I don't know. So today's class even I will upload it. Okay. Thank you everyone. Bye bye. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.